bruv. Smooth segue.
Come on.
Smooth Segue.
Segue. It's weird, isn't it? Because I thought Segway was spelled Segway like
The
the
little thing.
the rotor thing.
How's it spelled?
Segue.
What?
Yeah. Segue.
Segui.
Yeah, Segway.
Segui, bro.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't
Does
it?
that make me stupid?
Luckily, it's only used in conversation. You don't really write it down.
Yeah, that's
I've
true.
never seen it written. That's why.
Clearly.
Yeah. Or maybe I did see it written and I was like, what the hell is Segu? And then just kept it moving.
I'll just keep
it moving.
No,
yeah,
but it's weird because like, oh no, again, this is wrong. How do you spell league? League.
Liagi.
Right? So you could have just read it as like Seg.
What?
Sieg.
Oh, Sieg. Oh, yeah. S-E-A.
No, it's Segue.
But then League is S-L-E-A-G-U-E.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
What?
Words.
I thought you said leak, not league. How's Ramadan?
Yeah, it's good. I was just saying to Mayfly, just like, I can't believe it was only 3 days ago that it finished. Feels like it was ages ago. But I guess it's just like solid to be back on terra firma, like a bit more routine and like waking up and drinking water and stuff.
Yeah.
The little things.
That must be the killer, the key thing, right?
Yeah.
Is the water in the day, especially as it started to get warmer.
Yeah.
Like you and I were kicking ball in the park, and it was like you were just mashed for the rest of the day after that.
Yeah, it was like 20 degrees and we were sprinting about, and it was the first time I'd like been out and about properly and played any sports, and I was just like, you'd boot the ball and I'd be like, yeah, I need to get on the end of this, and then 20 minutes in I'm like, shit, I can't drink any water. This is peak. And then I did the classic like put water in my mouth, rinse it, and then spit it out, and I was like, this sucks.
The loopholes.
Yeah, it's not a loophole.
It is, right? It is. There are loopholes, right?
I wouldn't call it a loophole. It's more just like you're not allowed to drink water, but you're not allowed to put water in your mouth. Like,
Yeah,
you're
I mean,
allowed to shower.
That's what a loophole is.
Yeah, you have to.
But I'm not trying to get. I suppose I am trying to get around it, but I'm not. Like
It's like almost like the definition of a loophole.
No.
Yeah, of course it is. That's exactly what a loophole is.
I would look
It's
at a
still
loophole.
like loopholes are still legal, but it's your way of navigating the law.
I think it's because you think it's a negative connotation to call it a loophole, but it's allowed. Like you put water in your mouth when you do your ablution, so you're allowed to do it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's because loophole just generally has a negative vibe. Like, oh, it's
Tax
fine.
avoidance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you've gotten around it, but you probably shouldn't have done that.
So speaking of loopholes, any other loopholes which you found useful?
What, in Ramadan?
Yeah.
That's pretty much the one and only, other than like not doing what you're supposed to do. Like by the end of it, it was like, at the start we were all pretty on it. We were like waking up for Fajr, we were like doing the prayers, hydrating and this and that. And then I think on the last few days it was like, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to drink some water, take my supplements, I'm going back to sleep. Like those kind of things, the efficacy of my discipline towards doing it just kind of started to wane. I found the last few days, the last week, like really tough.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Really, really tough.
I think the last 3 days, it felt like 2 weeks. It would get to 4 p.m. and I'm like, oh, it's still the same day.
Yeah.
It's not like this is the next day. This is 15 minutes after I last checked the clock. Oh my, and I feel bad saying I'm happy it's over, because it was a really good experience, but at the same time I'm slightly happy it's over.
Yeah,
and
and well done. You guys smashed it as well. Like it was a difficult slog, you know.
Yeah,
I mean, I did it for 10 days, and
which was sick, by the way. I was very impressed
Thanks.
that you for your first time properly doing it and you managed to do 10 days. Like you did 10 days, you did everything.
I did everything. I didn't miss a single prayer at all in
Yeah, that
10
was
days.
sick.
But yeah, for me it was obviously as we've touched on before, it was more just that I'm on a different spiritual journey.
Mm-hmm.
It came at the perfect time. I wanted to sort of trial it and see and learn a bit more about Islam and read the Quran a bit. And then over that time, I just came to quite a natural conclusion that Islam as a religion didn't necessarily completely fit with what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. But what I did love and what I will intend to do every year is to do it again, and to probably not pray each time, because that obviously it will go against what I believe essentially. But I think as a framework and just what it promotes, and this reset especially, is just so important. Yeah. Like, you know, they say that it takes 30 days to kick a habit. I feel like so many people coming into Ramadan might be straying far away from the path, and whether you're religious or not, it promotes so much like stuff which just makes sense, like very logical things. Like I was talking to your family about it, and there was someone who's a little bit older who was saying that at this time it's like difficult on the knees, and you remember each morning we go down to pray and all our knees would click at the same time, and every time it would be hard for me not to crease, but it would be like
It's the classic. We'd all sit back in the same way, and then there would be like a little shuffle adjustment, and you just feel like click, click. I was like, oh, it feels good.
And that's what I mean, like that's so amazing, like promoting not drinking for a month generally of surrender as well, like surrendering to something higher, the reset in terms of alcohol. If you are drinking, obviously that's haram regardless, but for people who are, what you called it, something specific, you said that's not
Makruh.
yeah.
So
what's the difference there? What's like versus haram and makruh? And
so haram, correct me if I'm wrong, haram is just completely forbidden. Makruh is like
grey area.
Yeah, it's like it's not good. You avoid it if you can, but you don't get any sins for doing it.
Yeah.
So I think smoking, for example, falls under that category where it's not like it goes on your record as like you've sinned, but by not doing it, it's a good deed.
Absolutely.
That's I think.
Yeah, and then on the other side you have halal, which is like this is like a benefit to do, and it's like it's a must essentially. Like you have things which are a must, and then you have things which are, I think it's called mustahab, which basically means if you do them, you get benefit, but if you don't do them, you don't get any negative. Yeah. So there's there's like the two extreme sides, like haram and like halal.
Yeah,
and then
there are the two.
Or I'm not sure if halal is the opposite, or it's something else. But basically, there's like the obligatory stuff, and there's the forbidden stuff, and there's the two categories in the middle.
Yeah. So like, smoking, you can like smoke a cigarette once you've broken your fast, but you shouldn't. Ideally, you shouldn't. And so for me, that was something that I like tried to avoid massively, was getting back onto the nicotine. That was honestly,
there's like another level of willpower, isn't there?
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Yeah, it's like cool. So I didn't find the no drinking difficult at all, to be honest. Like no alcohol, that was completely fine. No food. I don't really eat much anyway. Like you guys know my eating habits. I can go the whole day without eating food. The water, once you drink loads at Fajr, that's fine. It like the first few days, it was I wanted a coffee, and I wanted like nicotine. Like I wanted to smoke a cigarette. Once I got over that initial hump, it got easier and easier. And then I found myself, I got into the routine of, I was starting to feel like quite hungry at the set time because I've just gotten used to eating at like 6 p.m. And then that's when the last few days really started kicking my ass, where I was like, oh, I'm actually feeling very, very hungry now. And interestingly, now that it's done, I kind of am back to not feeling hungry. Like I don't have the urge to eat like breakfast. I never really ate breakfast, but I do want to start trying to put more calories in.
I wonder though if that's because, not to put you on blast on the pod, but like if your nicotine consumption has come back in and it's just like, cool, that's an appetite suppressant. And you're like, cool, I'm like back now. I'm like
that's true,
nicotine in the day.
Yeah.
I'm not as hungry. Whereas before it was like no nicotine during the day. I got hungry by the evening. Just something to consider.
Yeah, you probably are right.
I agree with you fully on the first few days with the caffeine in particular. And now that the month was done, it's like been so easy to not get back into drinking coffee. And I think
having like one a day now. Or?
I've had one since.
Oh really? That's
yeah,
great.
I've had one coffee since Ramadan finished, and I had 2 teas yesterday at our little Eid link up with the fam.
Nice.
So that's it, and I think I'm just gonna carry on using it as more of a fun, like a nice to have, like a fun,
tool.
A luxury kind of. If we go out, if on Thursday when we go play paddle, we want to have a little coffee before, I'll be like, yeah, cool, let's do it. It'll be like something to look forward to.
See, it's that reset. That's so good. It just helps you have like, first of all, helps you stop a lot of things. Like you said, with alcohol, you weren't even really that bothered, but even now, it's like it's not something. It's not like a must-have. But
exactly.
It's so good to have this reset where you cut things out completely, but also have a better relationship with some of the things which are quote unquote vices.
Yeah. Like I haven't even touched coffee again.
That's mad.
I haven't had the urge to.
Interesting.
And like I wake up and I don't. I used to wake up and I think it was more the routine and like I actually like the taste of a coffee, but I wouldn't be able to notice a difference really in myself not having a coffee and having one. Like I'd have a coffee and I'd feel the same, and I think it's just because your tolerance builds up so quickly to it. And it's especially when I was like in a corporate job, it was like a routine. It was like part of the daily structure was get to the office, we'd all step out and grab a coffee, do a bit of work, and then like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock rolls around. We're like, oh, should we go for another coffee? And then it's just part.
Dossers in these offices.
Yeah, it was just like part of.
We probably.
No wonder your company fell apart.
Let's have a liquid lunch as well, I reckon, and then pints after.
Oh, I'm actually the one thing I do miss about that place, other than a few of the people that I worked with, was
Social.
the social aspect of being in the office environment, having just like loads of people around all the time. And then there's in Spitalfields Market, there's a pizza spot, and they do a pumpkin based pizza. It slaps.
Oh, that sounds unreal.
Pumpkin based, and they got a truffle dip.
Pumpkin base is in the sauce is pumpkin.
Yeah. Instead of the tomato base.
Oh, I thought
You meant like the dough? No.
That would make more sense.
Really?
Yeah, because pumpkin is like starchy.
Yeah, but it's like they pureed it and then used that as a tomato,
interesting.
and then it had parmesan on top.
Yeah.
It's
That
literally.
does sound good.
Sounds
I
great.
would have it probably like once or twice a week.
Really?
I would, as soon as I found that one, I'm like, this is the one that I'm going to get every single time. And they have a little truffle dip.
I'm so glad I found you.
Yeah, and then we would all do that, and we'd have like pizzas at lunch, and I'd wonder why at like 2 p.m. we're all like, oh, I think I need a coffee.
The biggest thing for me when I was working every day in an office was the after work drinks. Maybe this was actually a sign of the times, but when I was back at I used to work at Sony obviously, and during that time every day was drinks and pints, and that just
Really?
pretty much, yeah.
Every day?
Pretty much, yeah. Because we had like a really good group of people who would like to hang out after work. There'd be gigs, there'd be stuff going on, so you'd always find an excuse to do it, you know. And when you work with a lot of mates as well, it was quite easy to, especially when it's all encouraged that it's like a social industry, you know.
Yeah, I guess in your case, there's a lot of like you say, events and like activities and things to do after that are considered work.
Yeah.
But then there are also like social events that you would attend regardless of if you were in the industry or not. And so then that just leads you down to ending up at like a pub every day.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Every day. It was
Pretty
mainly
much.
like...
Not like every, but like
there was an
most.
excuse. You could excuse it
Oh,
every day.
definitely. There
Now,
would be someone to beat.
In our office, obviously, because it was only a few people, it was like 20 people max in the office.
You were just on your own at the pub. Like, guys, come on.
It would get like that.
Daily drinks. Everyone's
where
like, we don't drink, Leif.
two of us would be like, oh, should we go out? And then you have to like at least convince one other person, and there's only like 3 people to choose from, and you're just like, oh, bro, let's go. And then the local pub, we go so often that they would just give us free drinks. We just order and they just chuck an extra one for free.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That is a bad sign.
Yeah, that's when I was there, and I would walk up and they would just start pouring. Immediately they knew what I was going to order. I'm like, oh,
That is bad.
that's
Hey,
not
the
good.
usual.
Yeah, 6 pints for me, please. They had a gluten-free.
A glue.
Yeah, gluten.
Glue.
glue.
Glue. Le glue.
It was a gluten-free beer, and it slapped.
Locale, it's called. Is that the one you mean?
I think no, it was one of their special brews that they've got, but it was
Special brew.
it was like an extra
special
brew.
Yeah, that's something else, bro.
I think what's special brew?
It's a Guinness. Wait, is it Guinness brand? No, Carlsberg brand. But it's special brew. It's like
the strong one.
It's like 8 or 9%. You like my boy. I've shouted him out on a previous Joe Bleep. He had 4 cans of that once, and I've never seen anyone. So it wasn't even like he was drunk. It was something different.
Yeah, something
It's like how absinthe is like a different alcohol.
Do you guys remember ever doing the 4K challenge?
Yeah, K-ciders.
K-ciders.
It's pretty much same deal.
That's what I mean. I'd never get to the 4th one.
Like,
because bearing in mind we were children at this
it's like
point.
9%.
Not children, literally children.
What do you mean? I was like 15,
Stuff for a while.
16. Yeah, I know.
Really?
Yeah, bruv, it was peak.
4K ciders at 15. You would. That's like death almost.
No one made it to 4. That was the
You
point
would
of
just
it.
forget about the challenge. Like halfway through the second one, you're just like, oh, let's just have fun, and you forget about the other two.
Yeah, we used to do some stupid stuff.
I always thought that K-ciders tasted like olives. Every time I would smell it, I'd be like, this just tastes like an alcoholic olive.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think I had really enjoyed olives at that stage of my life to like be able to make the
K-ciders, on
comparison.
the other hand.
Yeah, but no, I didn't.
enjoyed that.
It's like an acquired taste.
It's
Yeah.
not like I was drinking it and being like, oh, this tastes like olive. I love olives. I was more just like, God, it tastes like liquid olives, man. What are we doing? We used to do Frosty Jacks.
Yeah, that's pretty right. They're all in the same family.
Yeah,
weren't
They-
yeah.
it was
White Star.
Yeah,
Oh
Diamond
my-
White, White Lightning.
It's basically
Scrumpy
what
Jacks.
like
Oh,
shout
was it
out
Scrumpy?
the
What was Scrumpy?
Scrumpy Jacks is less bad, I think.
Yeah.
Wow, the Ramadan pod is getting
Yeah, no, it's
it's not
nuts.
for a lot.
But I was gonna say it's basically shout out the homeless, but it's like anything that the homeless would drink. It's like that. It's like that category of stuff.
It's
Yeah,
because we're young,
definitely.
we don't have an income, and it's like cool. We want to spend the least amount of as possible and get as drunk as possible. So I remember before we were like 8. I think it was my mate's 18th. Shout out Lucas. We did
Lucas Bleep.
Lucas Bleep,
Lucas
yeah.
Bleep, yeah, and I'm like, we did prees in your room, and we.
Is this why there's a hole in my room?
Yeah, this is why there's a hole in your room.
There's
What?
a hole in the wall in my
There's a
room.
hole
That's-
in my room.
There was 5 of us in your room, praying, playing music, and we bought. I think each of us had our own like 2-liter Frosty Jacks, and then a bottle of vodka between 2, and it was just like nothing got finished. Halfway through, another one of our boys, Gavin Bleep, turned up, and he brought another bottle, and it was like 11 o'clock and we were going to leave, and obviously we were going to have to trek and then get the Northern Line all the way to Old Street because we would always go to XOYO, your mum's house. That was the move. And
That was a sick night.
XOY has just been reopened, by the way.
Why was it closed?
Well, it wasn't closed. It was just not being like used properly. Like they just had shit nights there, and some club promoters bought it and started putting on sick nights there.
Oh, banging.
Really?
Anyway, sorry. Aside.
Yeah,
Segui.
yeah, that nice little seggy. We were like, we need to make a massive pilgrimage to get to Old Street, and at one point I can't remember what happened. I think Gav just put his foot through the wall. It wasn't like his whole foot; it was just like his heel, and now it's still there, just a little hole. And then none of us, I think only Gavin made it into the club that night. Along the journey, like one by one, we just dropped off. Like one of my boys threw up on the bus, and then when we got to the tube stop, another guy threw up. So then they left, and then there was 4 of us on the tube, and then this is when I pulled up to yours in Elephant and Castle.
Jokes.
Was that then?
That was that night specifically. Like one of us got off, and it was like he's like, oh, I'm just gonna go to the toilet, and then we just never saw him again. And he ended up on a boat.
Still now.
Yeah, just had never seen
We
him.
never heard from him.
I think he ended up on a boat, like at a boat party somehow.
Where from? What, from in London?
Yeah,
How?
on the Thames, just like
Mad.
a little boat party they managed to like get onto. I got to Elephant and Castle, and I was like, 0% chance I'm making it to the club. I need to get to a bed, like ASAP. And at the time you were there,
Yeah.
so I think I called you, and you were like, I'm not in, but Petty is in.
Yeah, petty bleep.
Petty Bleep, and then I went, pulled up to yours, and just passed out. And then one of them, there was two people remaining, and then one of them just like chunned in the queue, and then obviously you're not gonna get let in. You've just thrown up in the queue, and he tried to jump over the barrier.
And also you're just mash up and like everything is just much slower and worse.
Yeah,
in-
you
in
think
your head.
you think you're being slick, and you've
Yeah,
like
yeah,
chunned
yeah.
secretly, and you've actually like
Yeah,
thrown
yeah,
up
yeah.
all over yourself.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, that was many stories like that from child. Oh no, I think we were 18. We were all 18, and he was one of the last ones to turn 18. So that was all legal.
Nice.
Yeah, too many stories like that. Gosh, how far we've come.
Yeah.
As a trio.
Well, exactly.
It's beautiful.
It is.
Yeah, now we're spiritually aware, spiritually awake,
Yeah.
fasting, doing all sorts of positive stuff.
Hardly drinking. I don't drink at all.
Yeah.
Haven't done for a long time. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess that neatly leads me on to something I wanted to ask you guys as well. Is we back to Ramadan. Have you guys, especially during the last 10 days? I remember when I was doing my research in the lead up, that it was like the last 10 days was when Muhammad had his kind of revelation and the awakening. That's when you're supposed to go a little bit harder with everything, like go a bit more intense. Did you guys reap any of those benefits? Did you get any? Did you have any sort of revelations? Any like awakenings? Any sort of anything like that?
So it's a good point. So the like the backstory of that is like Laylatul Qadr, which is the night of power, and we don't know exactly when it is, but we know that it comes in the last 10 days of the month, and it's on the odd nights of the last 10 days of the month. So it could be.
How do they know that it was the odd nights of the last 10 days?
To be honest, I don't actually know, but
Okay.
that's just what I know about that specific thing.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So
So
it's the odd nights. Yeah, that's I didn't know. That's why I asked as well. Yeah.
and apparently, what happens on this night is that like a portal opens between like the angelic realm and this 3D realm that we're in, and like all the angels come onto Earth, and it's like a very like positive, like connection that occurs. So I don't know. I don't. Just being frank,
That didn't happen.
I didn't really feel any like madness, but I'm not sure if I was just because I didn't really lean into it as much as I could have. Like I didn't get a chance to go to like the masjid at all. I didn't really get a chance to, and maybe this is just me making excuses like, oh, I was tired, or I had a long day at work, or I just like
I don't think it's
I was
excuses.
feeling
I think
weak.
it's facts, bro. Like I think I did 10 days and it was tough, and you were getting up way earlier than I was and coming back later than I was, and it is generally just a really difficult thing to do,
Yeah.
I think on my side, the whole of Ramadan was quite difficult, like emotionally, and then without going into like details, the last 10 days was. Do I need to do that?
On the other side
On
of your
this side.
face. Yeah, well done.
Is it gone?
Yes.
The last 10 days, it was like a lot of introspection, a lot of like, looking inward and trying to process things and like understand kind of what the next like little bit of my life was going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was like timed really well, because coming out of Ramadan, a lot of like tough decisions were made. And I don't think I would have made those decisions had it not been for Ramadan like occurring at the time it did. Like I think the whole time lined up perfectly with forcing me to, I would typically have been going out loads, hanging out like with loads of friends, kind of distracting myself, but you're obviously not doing that. You don't have the energy to do that. So it was a lot of like sitting in my room, doing a lot of praying, and that helped to just give me that like peace of mind. And it ties back to what we've always said is, not having headphones in. Like there were so many more opportunities for thought that allowed me to work through things. So I don't necessarily think it was like in the last 10 days anything specific happened, but it was more like a culmination of the whole 30 days leading to Eid. And then I was like, okay, yeah,
Definitely.
I kind of know what needs to be done, and that has helped me like process a lot of things.
Yeah, it was great timing wise, wasn't it? Sorry, you were going to say something.
I was gonna say some people manage to just live their normal life during Ramadan and like go to the gym and like still go to work and basically just like nothing changes for
Business
them.
as usual.
Yeah,
Bow, some might say.
yeah, but I just wasn't able to do that, and for me it was a lot of like forced downtime, which I think actually was good. And like you were saying, because you're not being distracted by a lot of other things and you are doing a lot of kind of quiet reflection and introspection, answers kind of come out. So from a like, let's say like a religious fanatic kind of side, they'll be like, yeah, it's the power of the month, and it's like, Laylatul Qadr, it's the last 10 days, you like start seeing this. And then from a more, let's say, less spiritual, more rational kind of look at it, it's like, okay, you've been quite quiet and in your own head, and
Still,
you've been
meditate.
exactly, and you've been doing that for like 3 weeks, and now it's like you're in the last third of the month, like the last 10 days. You probably are starting to see things with a bit more clarity. You probably are getting like some sort of download or some sort of revelation about what you've been thinking about. So even when you kind of step back from it from the religious aspect, you can see how that would have possibly happened. It's like, yeah, cool, you've been essentially in a meditative state for like 3 weeks. Now you're getting some answers here in the last like 10 days of it.
There you go. Yeah, I mean that's exactly what I believe, and that's why I was even drawn to doing it and exploring Islam in general. Is because I had a great time like about a year ago where I had a pretty massive awakening, and I think the biggest factor for that was a lot of the things which Islam or Ramadan specifically promotes. So not drinking, sitting and meditating, being still, like embracing a bit of a surrender almost.
Yeah.
I think that's the key. Like you speaking about being in your room and spending a lot of time, it's like you have to confront those difficult thoughts, and it's very easy to delay. Delay is the word. It's my buzzword of the last few weeks. It's like delay. It's like anything is just pushing off the inevitable. If you need to make a tough decision, if you're unhappy, if you're like, people drown it out by listening to music all the time. Go for a walk, they're like, right, okay, what's this? And I think it first of all messes up your dopamine, but also means that you just keep repressing all these emotions again and again and again. There's always a barrier in between you and your actual brain.
Yeah.
Like
I found that so like massively. Like I tried to listen to music a bit less during this time, and then going on my walks, I'd like leave my phone at home, and literally just like sitting and just doing nothing for 15 minutes, and not trying to control or like take this, I need to take action. Sometimes inaction is the action to take. Like just literally sitting in a park and just staring at the sky and be like,
Absolutely.
right, that's a lot of the time I feel this urge to constantly be doing something to be like productive, but it doesn't work like from a spiritual or like emotional perspective. Like you've always said to me, like, you can't like think your way out of this. You're just doing like mental gymnastics to try and rationalize all of the different possible outcomes of every scenario you're in.
Yeah.
And then it always boils down to you're just still in the same situation that you were in at the start.
Yeah, you
But now
just tried to contextualize it to make yourself feel better about it, when actually all you can do is, you know, all the facts, you have all the facts in front of you, you then make a decision straight away, and then just sit with the
sadness of it,
the emotion of that
whatever
decision,
that is.
essentially.
Yeah.
Like, for sure. Like, I think, like you said, sitting in the park, for example, or any of these tools for meditation, Tesla and Einstein both had their ways of basically channeling a higher power, their higher purpose, or locking into some kind of grid, essentially, like collective consciousness grid. Like, neither of them supposedly had insane IQs, but they used to use techniques where they'd be in like altered states, whether that be through meditation or whatever, where you have completely surrendered. You let yourself go into almost like a dream-like trance, and that's when the information comes, rather than trying to like figure it out so much. I think you can apply that to all elements of your life.
People misconstrue like being alone with true like solitude. So what I mean by that is, like, often it's like, oh, you know, I just need a bit of time to myself, but they'll have a podcast on, or they'll be like your thoughts are essentially hijacked by somebody else or something else. But like true solitude is just, like you said, being sat with no external influence, and that's how you kind of tap into those states. So I think when you are sitting there and you're like, I guess during the month of Ramadan, you're like reading the Quran, it's like, okay, I'm just focusing on this one very specific thing with no external distraction. And that's how you really, I think that's what's been lost over the past, 20, 30 years of the, like, well, maybe not that long, 10, 15 years of the internet age, where it's really like constant bombardment, attention spans are being reduced. We can't just focus on one thing. You can't go for a walk on your own without your phone or your headphones. Your phone has become part of your body.
Yeah, people, I used to be the same as well. I used to not be able to go from room to room without quickly putting a podcast on.
Yeah.
It's like, well, like, it's almost like being scared of that own brain space.
I think part of that is like a subconscious like defense mechanism of like you said, instead of confronting whatever the feeling is or what's been repressed, which is ultimately most likely going to be something negative. You wouldn't necessarily repress something that's like a positive emotion. You'd want to lean into that. So you have this thing of like, cool, I'm just going to subconsciously deflect from it. But interestingly, to that point where you're talking about focusing on one thing, I read something about, it's like one pointedness. So for example, you've been driving for like 5 hours, or you're like on your way home and you need to go to the toilet, and you're like, all your brain is focused on is taking a piss, and then it just gets worse and worse and worse, and then there's like 30 seconds of almost like ecstasy when you actually start peeing, because it's nothing else matters. You're just 100%, and it's like distilling it all down to this one single focus, where that's where ecstasy can be like drawn from.
Interesting.
And applying that to, I'm just going to focus on this one task. You hit flow state by ignoring all other external factors. You're not thinking of like the anxiety of what if I mess it up, or like, oh, I didn't apply this training properly. It's not past or future. It's 100% in the moment, and you're not distracted, and you're just, then that
has to come from passion as well. That has to come from you actually wanting to do that, essentially.
Yeah, and it's like that idea of like, oh, just lock in. There's this like forced, oh, just lock in, bro. Like, make yourself do this thing. And while that has benefit, it's locking in the right way of removing all the external distractions, and then you have no choice but to lock in.
Yeah, too many people work harder, not smarter.
Yeah.
Don't they? They're like, right, I worked 10 hours today. That's good. Whereas actually it's like a lot of that might have been just like them, I don't know, not being in their full flow state, or
it's like, oh, I'm working, but I have 6 tabs open. I remember it was really bad, but I would have like so many tabs open, and then I would also have like a little, as soon as I got Arc browser, actually, this is what like fucked it up for me, because on Arc you could so easily, if you were watching a YouTube video and you switched over to another tab, it would just picture in picture the YouTube video. So I'd be like doing work, and there'd just be a video in the top right corner.
So the work is just half-assed.
Exactly. The work is just like, I'm doing the work, but I'm being distracted by something else.
Multitasking is a myth as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah.
Like, you know, we can't actually do it. I know people are like, oh yeah, I can multitask really well, but I'm based on the studies.
Based on studies that I
yeah,
read.
it doesn't actually seem to be the case.
I heard creatine is really good for multitasking.
Yeah, nice. Nice. Very good callback.
Cool.
So, you know, what we're spending time doing by like spreading ourselves thin across multiple platforms and multiple avenues at the same time is just not serving anyone in any way. And just to come back to like the Ramadan thing, it kind of gives you that one-pointedness a bit more. It's like, actually, forget everything else that you've got going on in your life. Forget all of these other like problems, or your job, or your this, or your that, or your relationships, or all these things. Put them to the side. Because you're focusing on not doing this, not drinking, not eating, not that, you kind of get into a bit more of a flow state. And I think that would just add to how we were talking about, you get these more meditative states and this revelation that comes at the end of it. It's just all tied in.
It's surrender again. It's surrender. It's like, it's faith, basically. That's how a lot of people who never even have a spiritual experience necessarily themselves through religion or other means, meditation, whatever. But a lot of them, despite that, putting all their faith in God, for example, or Jesus, or whoever, whatever your faith is, that is their surrender. It surrenders to a higher power. It stops you from being so anxious about the future and helps you to live in the present, because you're just giving all your surrender and all your faith to this thing. That's why people like say they weren't happy until they found God.
Yeah.
Whether that be through a religious experience or just a concept.
Yeah. It's interesting, at school, I feel like we were taught that like faith was synonymous with blind faith. Like we weren't ever really taught, anytime you'd hear faith brought up in like religion and philosophy and like lessons and stuff, it was always, you just blindly follow this thing with no real understanding of it, and you just believe it for the sake of it, and it had like a negative connotation. But I think we are starting to see a resurgence of people just being like, I have faith in this thing, and I believe in something beyond me, and that's it. And there's like a lot more respect almost for that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just my interpretation of it because of how we were taught it at school. Or like,
it's also tough for us to ever know because we've spoken about this before as well, but just like our algorithms and we all share the same algorithms pretty much. And I think that generally this is a whole nother topic, but I think the world also, where what you believe about the world is its own kind of algorithm with the universe mirroring what is in our heads, for example. And you start to realize it becomes a bit of a echo chamber is probably a negative way of putting it. I don't want it to be negative, but it means that we do just mirror the same beliefs a lot. And then sometimes we've had examples of this where I speak to someone else and they have not even a clue of the first layer of this thing, which is so prevalent in our lives.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I wonder if it's just because we've been fed that side of things, and maybe that isn't the case. But
also, it's, you know, I think we gravitate towards people who are similar to us, like almost naturally. Like sometimes you'll just meet someone and
law of
it's
attraction.
like, you see it like I see it.
You get it.
And then once that happens, you're like, cool, that kind of vindicates how I feel. And just by proxy, you spend more time with them, and then you become more like them, they become more like you, and you find your tribe. And so because it distills people into groups, it just perpetuates that same thing of, okay, your internal tribe has this particular algorithm and you guys are feeding each other the same thing, whether it's right or not. Do you know what I mean? Like whether what we think is right or what other people believe is right, it's almost irrelevant.
It just
because
means
it becomes our reality.
Yeah. And all these like groups are just getting like further. We spoke about this with the manospheres. Like they're getting further and further away from each other, stronger, but further away from each other.
Yeah, it becomes more about, and then I think that's when it gets to the negative side of it, where we have this belief that we believe in our group, and this is perpetuated. And then if somebody doesn't have that belief, they're like shunned from the group. Like it becomes less about our shared belief and more about how our belief differs from the other groups. And that's, I think, most of the discourse online, or even just in the world in general. It's
That's the problem. It's because normally, like historically, your tribe would never connect with another tribe. You'd only meet them by accident or in war, like if you had to go fight. But now, our tribe and their tribe and this tribe are constantly in contact with each other. So it's like, I'm seeing what I disbelieve over there, and I'm like, no, you're wrong. Whereas before, I wouldn't even know that's the case. I wouldn't even know people like that existed.
There are positives to that, though.
It's
like
good.
having the
Opposition.
Yeah, having like conflicting beliefs with somebody and going about it in like
Debate is important.
a respectful way. And oftentimes, even if your view won't get changed, you still learn something. You understand, oh, actually, I didn't get this about this. Like, I don't know, I never really understood Dungeons and Dragons as like a game that people would play, because I always thought it was just like, this is a bit moist, you're just like role playing and playing these characters. And then I actually like looked into it and I was like, that does kind of sound quite fun. Like you are just playing this character.
You run your own club.
But like I could see it as something, we always do our own little like characters and bits, and we have different like people that we play in our like day-to-day lives, and we riff off each other. It's basically just that, but with somebody putting it on rails and putting you down a path. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely.
And if I'd never spoken to somebody who played D&D and they sort of explained it to me and said like, you should watch this specific video about it, then I watched it, I was like, nah, you know what, might jump into some D&D. I think it's where you don't find, if that's the only thing that you have in common with somebody, then that's the only thing that you can resonate with them on. And so once you're taken out of that context and put in any other context, you're like, oh, we don't actually see the world aligned at all.
Yeah.
And so you're then forced to just be like, okay, well, I guess we're only going to hang out in this one context. And then I don't really think you can build a like good relationship with somebody if it's
shared values, man.
Yeah.
That's like, and when we're talking about friendships or relationships, like one of the most important predictors of success long term is shared values. So when, you know, it's pretty topical about what we've discussed in the
So
past.
it's shared values but not shared interests.
Shared interests are less important.
Yeah, so this is an interesting point. Yeah.
it's
Which I'll let you make.
It's basically useless. It has basically no indication of whether or not a relationship is going to be successful. Is if you like do the same things, like you produce and you write buzz and I glue. We don't do the same things, but it's all the base values that lead into
for
that.
Sure.
Like we're not boys because we do the same thing, right? We're boys because of other reasons, right?
Yeah, sure. We'll talk about that.
not just the gluing, right, guys? And also that's why they say like opposites attract, because it's almost like if you were exactly the same person and you shared the same interests and you did the same things, you'd be like, you're not actually adding anything to my life. But like how you said, you know, sometimes you have a conversation with someone who sees the world a bit differently. You learn something.
Yeah.
So a partner who maybe you guys have a common ground in terms of your overall beliefs, but what you're interested in means that there's something different and unique to discuss or to show you. Like, yeah, you know, your girl likes flowers and you like football, and you take her to a game and she takes you to look at some tulips. Like it's
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you experience the world more, but your base level values are where your connection is.
That's what girls and guys are.
Yeah,
about,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah,
Football and flowers.
Yeah, there you go.
Flowers,
Gosh,
100%.
She takes you to the makeup shop.
Yeah.
and I take it down and booze her.
Football is actually a really good example of something which unites everyone, even if you support different teams, for example.
Yeah. When the World Cup comes around.
Yeah,
We're
so
all
everyone-
English.
everyone
We're all
like,
English.
Hey, come on, England.
Everybody's like shouting at me, "Come on, England!" I'm like, "Yes, finally, finally." You're
What did someone say after the Italy game?
Oh
They're
man,
like,
when we
what are
when-
you? You're Italian, are you?
I got on a bus and we just lost the Euro finals, like missed penalties. I got on a bus and everybody was so battered and bare depressed, and a bunch of geezers at the back of the bus. I don't know, but yeah, the downstairs bit of the bus. I got on, went to sit down. One of them just went, "Oi, mate," and I went, "Oh shit, this is gonna end badly."
Buonanotte.
Ciao ragazzi. He was like, "Where are you from?" And I was like, "London." He's like, "So not Italy then?" And I was like, "No." And he's like, "Solid." I was like,
Come on, England.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh Jesus," because obviously somewhat ethnically ambiguous. But I think as soon as I started talking, he was like, "Okay, his accent."
Yeah, he's definitely from
What
here.
is wrong?
Yeah, I'm from London. Born and raised.
I'm buzzing for the World Cup.
Yeah.
Even though like whatever about the actual sporting event, the way it brings people together is quite sick.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
there
yeah.
is like sometimes there's just
it's
like an
something in the
energy.
air,
Exactly.
isn't there?
It's like
Yeah.
summertime.
Yeah.
Everybody is out. Everybody has this just like, "Oh my god, we got
Yeah,
a game
yeah, yeah.
today. Who's gonna win?" And then just like the amount of people you just see out on the streets, all the pubs are rammed.
Yeah.
Everywhere is rammed.
Do you know I actually really loved the one which was in winter, the Qatar one. Like that was actually good vibes as well. Everyone thought it would be shit, but
Yeah, it was these. Why is it that only during the World Cup do the pint sizes increase?
do they?
Yeah, like you go from like a normal pint glass, and then it's like, actually, we'll give you a 2-pinter if you want, and you can get this massive glass.
What Steins really? I haven't really seen that.
That's mad.
Have you never,
Nah.
bro? I
I
remember.
get back into gym.
Yeah, might just for that.
I remember going to. I was in Portsmouth at the time, so this must have been 2018. What was that? World Cup or was that Euros? And
World
in any case,
No,
World Cup.
World
8
Cup.
years ago.
yeah, I distinctly remember being in a pub
Yeah.
down there and going to the bar and getting two pints. So I was served 4 pints and 2 glasses, and it was just like, cool, I'm good now for the basically for the
We
game.
score and one of them just.
Yeah,
man.
literally, that's the
I
thing that
remember-
was so
I
jokes,
remember being
bro.
at Spoons in Kingston, and somebody at that point they'd realised we can't serve these drinks in like, glass because
Yeah. They just go everywhere.
they'll just go, and we must have scored like early on in the game. Immediately, you're just soaked.
Yeah.
Because it was the
And
start
then
of the
have
game.
to go and queue up for another pint.
Everybody had just gone to the bar to get their pints to sit down
to
for the
throw.
game, and it was like first
Yeah.
few minutes of the game, somebody scored. Obviously, people haven't finished their.
That would have been Luke Shaw scoring early doors in the Euros, no? Maybe not.
It was some. I don't even know if it was England. It must have been England playing, but
Yeah,
it
we're not throwing
don't
pints
give a
around
shit.
for someone else.
it was just mental. Like the amount of alcohol that hit the ceiling
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then was
yeah.
just dripping for the rest of the game.
I was at this pub, the George in Richmond, and do you remember that goal which Raheem Sterling didn't score?
Yeah, I was at my boy's house for it when it hits
one,
the outside
one
of the net.
which I still think went in.
It
for
literally
sure.
said goal.
Yeah, it said
like
goal.
they said goal, and then nobody was celebrating. We were like, holy shit!
Yeah, the whole place went mad, and all the pints went. The pint went and fell on the projector, and it busted out, completely
that's
died,
so
and then it
good.
came back on. It was 0-0.
Yeah,
I was like, fuck.
Yeah, because the way he hit it, it like swung out, and then it's just perfectly hit the outside of the net. But then
The stanchion.
and then the way it came back in, it looked like it had just gone through the goal.
Yeah.
And I remember watching on ITV at my boy's house, shout out Cam Bleep, and it literally said like goal, like they must have just pressed the goal button,
Yeah.
and then nothing happened, and we were like,
We should have done that last night. We should have just pressed the goal button.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have
Oh,
lost
God.
2-0.
Oh, no.
I don't want to talk about that.